What's up, guys? It's Tony here and welcome back to Man Cave Studios. Ladies and gentlemen, today, unfortunately, we're talking about the Philadelphia Flyers. Since it's the Olympic break, this is a perfect time to discuss the season so far. The Flyers started off this season very well. They, at one point, were second in the Metro. For most of the season, they were somewhere between a wild card spot and third in the Metro. But generally speaking, they look good in a pretty weak division. Earlier in the season, I would have Flyers fans and people that just watch hockey come up to me and say, "Wow, man, they're really playing good right now, huh?" And my response to them every time was, "Yeah, sure, but I'm not impressed," because I remember 2 years ago they were playing very good hockey as well for most of the season. Sure enough, the Flyers didn't make the postseason that year and wound up with a really bad draft pick because they were still technically in contention on the last day of the regular season. Now, last year the Flyers were bad, but not bad enough, unfortunately. And there have been times over the course of this season, especially the last few weeks, where I have said, if you're going to be bad, just be bad. If you're going to be good, just be good. Do not be mediocre. It drives everybody crazy. You don't get a good draft pick, you don't make the postseason, and it seems like the Flyers are ill-intent on being stuck in this cycle of mediocrity where they are nowhere near getting a very, very good prospect and nowhere near contention for the postseason either. And one of the things that I've said repeatedly over the course of the last several seasons is, okay, well, you've changed the president, you've changed the GM, you've changed the coach several times. At what point do you start blaming the players? Specifically, let's talk about one player. The captain, Sean Couturier. Now let me remind you, the Philadelphia Flyers were in a playoff position on February 14th, 2024. They were looking good. On February 14th, 2024, the Flyers made the decision to promote Sean Couturier as the captain of the team. A team that didn't previously have a captain. Since February 14th, 2024, the Philadelphia Flyers have the third worst record by an active team in the NHL. The only two teams worse are the San Jose Sharks and the Chicago Blackhawks, and we all remember that the Flyers did collapse in 2023-24 at the very end. It was brutal. They lost to some of the worst teams in the league by 3, 4, 5 goals. Now, if you want to get into the specifics as to why the Flyers aren't playing great this season, Flyers have dealt with some injuries. Jamie Drysdale, Tyson Foerster's been out for a while now. Rasmus Ristolainen has been out most of the season. But let's call it how it is. The team as it exists now is not good enough. And unless something somehow drastically changes with the roster, the team will never be good enough. There is not a player on the roster not named Dan Vladar or Travis Konecny who has lived up to what they need to live up to for a team to be successful. Noah Cates, Bobby Brink, Owen Tippett, Jamie Drysdale, Cam York, Sam Ersson. The Flyers have one goal scorer, Travis Konecny. They have a second guy, Trevor Zegras, who came in, was fantastic, and has not been great as of late. And the Flyers were basically relying on a guy who got traded for a fourth liner to carry the load through the first 3 months of the season. On top of that, they weren't scoring first in a majority of their games and were still somehow winning them, but it's not a recipe for success. When you don't have goal scorers and you struggle to get out ahead, you're not going to win very many games in an NHL season. They're too small. They don't score enough goals. Their goaltending isn't great. They rely on 2 defenders to play half of the game to just get them through. And I'm sitting here in the old orange jersey, thinking about this new era of orange, and it really doesn't look much different from when the Flyers were wearing these jerseys. They weren't bad. They're not bad now. They're mediocre. They've been mediocre for 6 years. The Chicago Blackhawks, now, they are a bad team. The San Jose Sharks, they were a bad team. But those two teams have young players who are still developing and are either still bad in the case of the Chicago Blackhawks and still in rebuild mode, or in the case of the San Jose Sharks, are starting to really emerge as a team that could be a contender in the next several years. And all that being mediocre has done is led to second-rate draft prospects And somehow we're supposed to win a Stanley Cup with them. This team is heading in the wrong direction. It's been heading in the wrong direction for several years. And let's hope that something changes. But we can't just hope. Something has to change, or we're going to keep missing the playoffs year after year and be like the Buffalo Sabres. Anyways, that's all for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching, and peace out, broskies.